Hi, my name is Marissa Williams and I will be talking about the steps in the sliding muscle filament theory. So I printed out this diagram and it shows the different steps of the sliding muscle filament theory, and this is where we're going to start talking about it and how the head of the myosin splits off and the ATP becomes energized, and then once it connects here, the myosin head binds to the actin and that forms a cross bridge. And after that, the ATP is still connected and it transforms into ADP, and the myosin heads rotate towards the center of the sarcomere, and that's called the power stroke because it pulls it together. And then the myosin heads bind to the ATP and the cross bridge detaches, so the actin and myosin bind splits. And then the contraction cycle continues if ATP is available and the calcium level in the sarcomere is high. So this is just a general overview of it, but there are specific steps. So muscle activation is kind of the first thing that happens. So the motor nerve and the nervous system stimulates the impulse, and it passes down the neuron into the neuromuscular junction, and that stimulates the sarcoplasmic reticulum to release the calcium into the muscle cell. And after the muscle is activated, then it has to contract, so the calcium floods into the muscle cell and binds with troponin, which allows actin and myosin to bind to each other, and the actin and myosin form a cross bridge, which we saw in the photo, and that binds and contracts using ATP as the energy to do this. And then after it, contracts and pulls together, then it has to recharge, so the ATP is resynthesized, the bonds break, and it goes back to its normal starting place where everything was untouched and not bonded. And that allows the actin and myosin to maintain their binding state, and then it can happen however many times that the muscle needs to contract for whatever activity it's doing. And then there's relaxation, which is when overstimulus of the nerve stops, so that calcium is pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and it breaks the link between the actin and myosin, and then actin and myosin go back to their unbonded state, which makes the muscle in the state of relaxation. And relaxation will also occur if there's no ATP, or if there's no ATP or oxygen available. So some of the things that can stop contractions are muscle fatigue or energy system fatigue, which is when there's no more ATP left in the muscle cell, so it can't keep contracting because there's no energy to feel the contraction, or nervous system fatigue, which is when it's not able to create the sufficient enough impulses or quick enough to maintain the stimulus, which causes calcium to release.